Well, yes. I mean, there's a huge headline in one of the British tabloids this morning saying that Simon got it all wrong, or Simon saying himself he got it wrong. And I think this goes back to the US X Factor, where, of course, we're both working on that show. And Simon made the comment that wouldn't be happy unless we got over 20 million viewers. In the end, of course, we got sort of like 10, 11, 12 million. But I don't think that he was being, as he says in the newspaper today, he said he was being cocky. I think he was just being really enthusiastic in the way that Simon is. We arrived in LA on the back of a hugely successful British X Factor, and he was very hyped up. So I think he just got excited, but at the end of the day, he was extremely happy with the first season of the American X Factor for all the right reasons. It was a fantastic show and great talent on there. I think that one of the big changes in these shows is with the contestants. They're far more prepared, and we saw this with the American Factor, X Factor, because you have 12 and 11-year-old, 13-year-old people, kids on there that were just like, they already knew exactly what they wanted to wear, what songs they wanted to sing. And, they've been watching these shows. They've grown up with these kind of shows, so they're far more prepared. And that was kind of quite a shock, really. But it does show that, this is I guess in a way, this is the YouTube generation. They've watched these shows online. They know what's expected, what the judges want. And this is the result. I think the US X Factor was great in that respect because it showed it's a much younger show than American Idol, and I think that was a great thing to happen. And also, I think we were very happy with the winner of the X Factor. Winner Melanie Amaro, I think she's going to go out and sell records worldwide, and that's what these shows have to do now. The winner has to cross over and sell records, albums across the world. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm pretty sure that there will be some changes, whether that's on the panel or not. I can't say at this point. That's up to Simon. But, knowing him the way that I do, it's quite clear that he will make changes for the right reasons. In other words, to make this show better and bigger. And I think he'll do that, definitely. Yeah, it's a good point because we've now got a lot of competition, both in the US and the UK, because The Voice premiered in the US last year and did very, very well. It was okay. I don't think it's the same sort of show as Idol or as the American X Factor, but it's there. It's challenging, and the same thing's going to happen in the UK this year because the BBC are going to put out The Voice. It's got a great judging panel on it. Tom Jones, people like that, the guy from the script. They've got everything going for it. So, but it is a different show. But it does mean that we've got to up our game, or Simon's got to up his game and make changes with the UK X Factor. And I don't know how that's going to happen. I think what we've got to do is watch what he does with the BGT this year, Britain's Got Talent, a brand new panel on that. So that's going to be really refreshing, and there's going to be some changes on that. If we look at BGT, I think you might see the kind of changes Simon might make to the British X Factor this year. And of course, this week, the new season 11 of American Idol premiered in the US, the same panel. It did very well. It kept its ratings last year. I have to say, yesterday, the first show dropped some ratings were a little down this year for the first show, but I'm sure they'll pick that up. This show has survived Simon. They said it wouldn't. And a little bit, I think Idol's a little bit like an old overcoat. It's comfortable. Everyone knows what it's going to be like. And, it's got a huge audience. It's got 21 million last night for the first show. And that's big rating. It's still the biggest rated show in America. But, what the X Factor does in the US, it's a much, much younger audience. And I think that's, again, what will happen this year with the second season of the X Factor. It will make its difference very, very clear cut. I think the biggest wake-up call, particularly for Simon with these shows, was the Susan Boyle explosion when she went viral, and we realised how many people across the world were watching these shows. It's like a small world now with the whole of YouTube and the internet, and people in the UK watch American Idol or watch the American X Factor from the UK. I mean, everyone's watching these shows, and as I said earlier on, it's quite clear with the American X Factor this year that these kids, these contestants, are very much they're very well versed with how these shows work, and so very much prepared. And now we've got more competition, as I said, with shows like The Voice coming on in the UK as well as the US. So I think we're going to see a new generation of these shows. Simon is, he's the best at changing them up and listening to what the viewer says and not letting the viewer get bored. So it's got to sort of keep on moving. It's got to keep on changing. The formats are not going to stay rigid as they have done in the past. American Idol does that, but she's the auntie of the shows. She's been going for 10 years, so we expect that. But I think with Simon's shows, he's always going to keep changing it up. And I think that's the right thing to do. And I think he's really good at doing that. He knows what the viewer wants to see on these shows.